Assalamu alaikum everybody. It's day 25 of Ramadan. So we will try and find that on our calendar. There it is. Let's see what it says. It says plant a seed. That does lead us very nicely onto our next book, which is all about trees, and they are olive trees. This book is called Sitti's Olive Trees, and it is by Inda Hassan and it's illustrated by Soumbal Qureshi. Sitti's Olive Trees. Reema walks into the kitchen and quietly watches as Sitti makes her favourite hummus dish. She adds just the right amount of chickpeas and drizzles a generous amount of olive oil on top of the hummus. Then she carefully cuts fresh homemade pita bread for Reema to dip into the hummus and enjoy later. The finished dish is a work of art as all the beautiful colours come together. It smells delicious, Sitti, says Reema. As Sitti puts the cap back on the olive oil bottle, some oil drips along the side. Sitti wipes the bottle clean with her fingers and gently rubs the oil into Reema's soft curls. Reema is surprised and does not understand why Sitti would rub olive oil into her hair. Sitti, why did you rub the oil in my hair? Oil is for eating, exclaimed Reema. Reema, Habibti, olive oil will nourish your hair and make it healthy. Also, this is not just any oil. This oil is Zayt Zaytun. Your uncle sent it from Palestine, where some of the best olive oil in the world comes from. It has travelled thousands of miles to reach us. Each drop is as precious as your beautiful glowing eyes, and not a single drop can be wasted. Sitti would never buy olive oil from the grocery store. She would wait for it to arrive year after year from Palestine. My uncles would package it up well and send it across the ocean straight to our doorstep. The day the olive oil arrived was a celebration for Sitti. She would slowly open one of the 5-gallon olive oil tanks and take a few seconds to enjoy the fresh smell. It reminded her of when she was just a little girl running around her family's olive groves. Each fall, the family gathered to harvest olives for pressing and preserving, a tradition as old as time. Come sit on my lap, Reema, and let me tell you about our olive trees. Reema loved it when her grandmother told her stories. The stories were always filled with beautiful tales about Palestine, her ancestors, and their village. Reema ran to sit on her grandmother's lap with a big smile on her face, patiently waiting for the story to begin. Each year in Palestine, olive harvesting season comes towards the end of the year. It's a very special time of year when the gathering of olives begins. It is a time of celebration for all. It is also a time of hard work for the farmers and their families as they spend weeks harvesting. Families gather to pick olives, green olives, black olives, and all the shades in between. It is a wonderful sight to see. First, they pick all the low-hanging olives and put them in buckets. The buckets are filled to the rim with olives. The highest hanging olives can only be reached with a ladder. Adults and children climb ladders to pick the olives. A sheet is laid under the tree to catch all the olives that drop. The elders sit nearby to sort through the bucket of olives. At the end of the day, families enjoy a picnic among the trees. Everyone comes together to share a delicious meal. They gather for some tea and coffee around a small fire made from branches and leaves. I remember those times as precious moments filled with joy and laughter. The elders would tell stories from the past. It was a time to sit down and appreciate all the hard work that went into taking care of the trees all year round. Many of the olive trees are planted on very hilly regions. These olive trees are hundreds of years old. Over the years, retaining walls called sanasil have been built up to keep the soil in place, holding up the trees. The hills are lined with these beautiful stone walls that make the trees look like they're all in a row, circling the hills. The sanasil are hand-built by the villagers and part of the love they give to the trees, making sure their roots stay firmly planted and the trees stand tall and straight. They are beautiful, Reema. We tell these stories because they remind us of our roots and keep this age-old tradition alive. Just like you're telling me this story now, Sitti, said Reema. Yes, Habibti Reema, said Sitti, just like I am telling you now, and you will tell this story to your children and grandchildren one day. From one olive season to another, these stories are passed down through the generations. The olive trees live beyond our years on earth and bring families together. Your great grandfather and grandmother were always proud of all the olive trees they planted, cared for, and harvested. Each year, they would divide up the olives and take some into a local mill to make olive oil. They would then keep some of the olive oil and sell the rest to people. They used the olives to make other things like olive oil soap and olives for eating alongside every meal. The trees were their pride and joy. Love and appreciation for these trees was passed down from one generation to the next. Do you have your own olive tree, Sitti? Reema asked. I sure do, Reema, exclaimed Sitti. My olive trees still stand in our village in Palestine, and your uncles tend to them with lots of love. Now do you see, Reema, why every olive and every drop of olive oil is so special? Asked Sitti. Yes, Sitti, I do, Reema answered while running her hands through her olive-coated hair. Will I ever own my own olive tree, Sitti? Yes, my love, one day you will visit Palestine and plant your own trees and run through the fields your ancestors proudly planted. You will be embraced by the sweet smell of the olives and the coolness of the branches. The olive trees are a part of who you are, Reema. Know this and never forget. I won't, Sitti, I promise. The end. I really like this book because I love trees, I love olive oil as well, and I really liked the display of Palestinian cultural heritage in this book and showing Reema's ancestry and Reema's traditions in her family. I like this page in particular because it looks really cozy and nice to have a meal outside by a fire. So if you would like to get this book, you can get it from Anafia Gifts and also all good bookstores.